That's okay, fat piece of junk. Look at you. That stupid little fuzzy brain you have is just so rubby. Yes, it is. Rub-a-dub-dub. You silly little weirdo. Oh, hey, there's everybody. Hi, welcome. Friday night after dark. We're rocking and rolling. Geno Suarez, grand slam in the 8th. Put the Mariners on top. They're up 3-2 with 2 games left in the American League Championship Series. Mariners are 1 win away from their first World Series ever, and most certainly the first one in my lifetime. Oh boy, I'm so excited. That's the good news. The bad news is that Donald Trump commuted the sentence of serial con man George Santos, using the excuse that Rick Blumenthal lied about his Vietnam participation, and somehow that relates to George Santos stealing people's identities, theft, campaign finance fraud, and a host of other crimes that he was convicted for and is supposed to spend 7 years in prison. But hey, now he's out and he can, I don't know, go on cable news shows and lie to people or something. So, yeah, it's, that's what we got. Also, Jamie Dimon's talking about regional banks as cockroaches that are set to basically expire at some point. They've got way too many unrealized losses that will soon become realized losses. And they are heavily tied in with commercial real estate bonds, which are worthless, and heavily tied in with the subprime securitized subprime car loans, which, as we know, there's like 20-something thousand cars a day being repoed right now because no one can afford anything. And the used car market is going to get weird as a result. And all these banks are going to go belly up. Yesterday, I was using Fifth Third Bank as an example of someone that would be involved in this with like Tricolor and all. And then an article came out today showing that it was Fifth Third that's about to lose $200 million or something off of their connections with Tricolor. And I was just trying to think of like a shitty regional bank that would do something like this. And so I just like pulled their name out of my butt. And lo and behold, there we are. I think I said Umpqua. It was a golden as well. We'll see what comes of them. Umpqua has gotten lots of trouble because they've funded, in the last 5 years, I think 3 separate billion-dollar-plus Ponzi schemes have gone through their bank. So they don't have the best compliance in the entire world. Dudes like serve you like lattes in the lobby of their banks, so that's really nice. Everything else? No, it's Friday. It's after dark. Here we are. It's nighttime. You can see the window behind me. It's very dark outside. I have a very dark cat staring at this Don't Trust Billionaires poster that he's contemplating on destroying right now. And let's do a classic After Dark, shall we? Classique. Je boink. Okay. I put goobers all over my glasses. Okay, turn it off. Boom. We're good. All right. Dig Dug Doink coming off with Super Chat says Grand Salami Spam Fund. Count it. Oh, man. That's a $9.99 for that. No, you can't get the pencil while I'm trying to use it. Okay. Was there any others? Did I miss anything? No. Oh, I can put that in live chat. And that's put that in multi-stream. There we go. Okay. Don't eat the pencil, please. I need it. Lyco Crypto was 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. 3, 4, 5. 5 will do. 6. Pick up sticks. And Polestar, yo. Oh, sorry. Ryan Peral's was 5 will do. Polestar, yo. Ryan Peral's, oi. Polestar, any new hype days, boss? I need some copium. People are now saying October 18th because that's when our shares were pulled, which means it'll be Monday the 20th. Every day's a hype date, and that way every day's a disappointment at the same time. So, right? Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll just give you drugs. We'll just give you lots of drugs. You can snort them off the spam paper. Yeah, get that for you. Drugs coming out of there. There you go. All right. There you go. It's nice and little concentrated thing. Do your drugs. Yeah, I guess the 18th, which is tomorrow, so that's Saturday, so nothing gonna do happening. And then 20th is Monday. And sure, why not? Yeah. All-star George Santos released from prison. Sure, why not? Yeah. What would be funny is if George Santos goes abroad and gets pinched in a standing arrest warrant for Brazil and goes to a Brazilian prison. That'd be funny. Lego Crypto, first 8 spots. I dare anyone to beat that. Oh, 7. That's true. Actually, it's the first 5, 6, because you got the buckle my shoe one in there. And then Ryan got the 6th spot. So, Polestar, easy. I just blocked you and all your messages disappear. Give me a second. Easy peasy. Lego Crypto, fair play now. Or probably play fair now. John Y. Mariners got lucky. Sometimes all it takes is a little luck. You pull your starter, put in a guy who like walks 3 dudes, and then you get a grand slam. It's good to go. Or I guess one of them got hit. So walks 2 dudes and beans another guy, and then a grand slam. So Mariners will take it. A win's a win, dude. Also, Jorge Polanco did get the worst called strike probably in the playoffs in the first inning. Should have been ball 4. The thing was at like the top of his shoes and was called for a strike. Garbage call. Should have been walk. Dig to doink 1 2. Freddy's coming for you. 3 4. I'm out the door. Woo. I'm Murph Durf Studios. Hey Big H, what blue chips do you expect to not drop too much when a crash happens? Probably government contractors. That is, if the government ever opens again. Auction companies, because they got to sell everything off. Tootsie Roll. Normally I'd say alcohol, but people don't drink like they used to. They're all smoking weed. So that's not necessarily true anymore. What else? What would you think, you little monster? Pet supplies? I don't know, maybe. Maybe. People have to give up their pets a lot, though, when they get into financial straits, especially because rentals won't allow people to have pets with them. And it's one of those things like, roof over my head, or do I keep my stupid fat cat who won't stop doing drugs? Right? Good thing I live in a house you're allowed in, even though you're a little monster. Yeah, that's probably top of my head. That's what I'm thinking. If you guys have any other ideas, throw them in there. Bankruptcy attorneys. That's what Julius Miami says. Yeah, bankruptcy attorneys. They'll be doing really well if you can invest in a bankruptcy firm somehow. Polestar, no Kings protest. Oh yes, tomorrow, no Kings protest tomorrow. Expect something like 5 million Americans expect to go out and just shake their fists angrily. And I love the people who are like, I don't agree with the no Kings protests. Oh, you agree with having a king? Well, no. It's it's like those guys who say that like Antifa are fascists. Yes, an antipasta is pasta. People confuse, like people who hate anti-fascists, they confuse the black bloc. And the black bloc, yeah, they're anarchists, they're tankies, they're folks like that who politically are probably really far left. They're just Antifa because they don't like fascists. If you don't like Nazis, you are also Antifa. You could be a Republican and be Antifa. If you don't like Nazis, you can be like, hey, I voted for John McCain. I don't like Nazis. Congratulations. Welcome Antifa. So it's a simple question. A simple question you can ask folks when they're like, you're just one of them Antifa. And you be like, okay, well, do you like Nazis? And if they say yes, then you say, you're a fucking Nazi. I hate you. If they say no, I say, oh, so then you are against fascism. And they'll be like, well, yeah. And you can say, so you're anti-fascism. And they're like, yeah, so you're Antifa. Welcome to anti-fascism. Well, welcome to Antifa. It's not that hard. It's a pretty easy logical strain there. Antipasta is pasta. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, Pamel's got some in there. Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Ross, TJ Maxx, Costco, Burlington, any company that caters to exploding poor's population. Exploiting? Or catering to, I guess would be the term. Will be fine. Yeah, probably those. Polestar, American Nazi flags being proudly displayed. Nothing happens. Why are they calling us Nazis? Lol. Yeah, if you didn't see that, a staffer for a congressman did a Zoom call in his cubicle, and behind him was an American flag where some of the stripes were turned into a swastika. And that's not the type of people you want working in government. Like, let's not have, gosh dang eyelash. Let's not have Nazis working in government, please. Can we just make that like a bare minimum criteria? Like, oh, I need somebody to answer phones in my office. Are you a Nazi? And you say, yes, sorry, I'm going to give the job to somebody else. It's not that difficult. Or if you walk past their cubicle and you see a swastika being proudly displayed, you can fire them on the spot for that. Doesn't seem like that difficult of a reason to get rid of somebody there. Oh shoot, there's a reset of the chat. Aaron Heiss. AI circle jerk plus commercial loans underwater equals double crash coming, but when? It seems like a lot of that loan stuff is coming to a head right now. Just looking at like Carvana, Tricolor, First Brands, a lot of the oopsie daisies we're seeing are starting to cause things to go belly up, and you can only sustain so much of that before something is so big it wipes out an investment bank, a commercial bank, an insurance company, something. And there is so much commercial loan debt, commercial like junk commercial bonds, stuff that's triple B rated and below, that has no hope of getting paid back. You've got $1 trillion or more being invested into AI that cannot turn a profit. It's not that it doesn't do stuff. It does. It just costs so much money and so much energy and so much computing power to generate any of these like inane little things. I can go right now. I can log into ChatGPT and say, "Hey, ChatGPT, make me a video of a monkey doing Star Wars in the voice of Laurence Olivier," and it will produce a video of that will cost ChatGPT OpenAI probably hundreds of dollars in electricity to do it in computer time, and it will spit that thing out for $5 a month. It is impossible to make a profit off of this. Bar chart had a thing today showing that European companies' adoption of AI has actually gone negative, meaning they were adopting. Now they're getting rid of it. And so the adoption is like, no one's adopting anymore. People are just getting rid of it because it's costing them a whole bunch of money and it doesn't do the job that they want. And it's fine for like being a toy. And that's about it. It is just like Zuckerberg dumping billions of dollars into Web3 and his little Zuckerberg cartoon virtual reality world, and no one wanted it. It's just like NFTs. You have a whole bunch of monkey pictures. In the end, they're kind of fucking stupid. No one wants it. That's what AI is coming to be. And the people who rely on AI the most are, for the most part, the dumbest among us. They just wholeheartedly do like the appeal to authority fallacy, and they go, "Oh, this AI is connected to everything. It obviously knows everything." There's this anti-vax douchebag named Alex Zek, whose claim to fame is being a member of the USA team handball team. He has no scientific background, no medical background, nothing. He played team handball for the Olympics once. She sent me this thing. It was someone asking Grok if a virus has ever been isolated, and Grok being like, "No, a virus has never been isolated. They never had it contained in a culture, and it's always failed Koch's postulate," which sounds really good if you're a fucking moron. But viruses can't be in cultures. Cultures are for bacteria. Koch's postulate is not for viruses. It is for bacteria. So if you don't know shit about anything, you're going to read this and go, see? I've never been isolated because it fails Koch's postulate. You know what Koch's postulate is? Basically, you take it, you take a smear of bacteria, put it in a thing, and if it grows from there, you have yourself some bacteria. But viruses aren't alive in the way the bacteria is. Bacteria are animals. They're creatures. They eat, they shit, they reproduce. That's what creatures do. Bacteria are just little chains of code. It'd be like saying, a computer program is the same thing as a computer. They are not the same thing. A computer program is nothing unless it has a computer it can go inside of and cause actions to happen. So a virus needs to attach itself to a living form in order to take over the cell and make it do things. Take over the computer and make it do stuff. Whereas a bacteria just goes, oh, gobble, 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 shit, 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 shit. And usually the shitting is what poisons you. So, if you're a doofus and you just wholeheartedly believe whatever the computer gods tell you, you will believe these wrong things. And you'll end up like a doofus like Alex Zek, spreading all sorts of disinformation across the internet. Viruses have been isolated. They have. We isolate them every single time someone does a PCR test. Testing for COVID or the flu or whatever. It gets isolated. We've taken them and we've zoomed in on them with an electron microscope and we've taken pictures of them. We've isolated them. That's all isolation is. So, to say that a virus has never been isolated because it hasn't done what a bacteria is like saying, fish can't breathe underwater because humans can't. It doesn't make any sense. You're taking two entirely different life forms with two entirely different purposes and trying to attribute the same values and conditions to them. So, yeah, I think that there's going to be a giant AI crash, and it is going to be bad. And I think NVIDIA, while it's going gangbusters right now, is doing the Enron financing of all these companies, and the good times run out eventually. And people are going to try and get theirs while they can, and hopefully stretch it out for as long as they can before that big crash comes in. So I think what we'll have is we'll have a whole bunch of these like Manhattan-sized server farms that are like 3/4 built and never gone online when it all comes crashing down. Because they're spending hundreds of billions of dollars building these things out in the middle of nowhere and sucking up like all the groundwater for entire communities to cool these things off. And eventually, it's just going to kill off everything. All because somebody wanted to like make a picture of their dog dressed as a superhero because they thought it'd be goofy. And hey, then we brought about the end of their entire environment. So, but yeah, it's going to be a double crashing coming for sure. Dig dug doink. Grand salamis are not luck, John. That hit in front of a home and for the double play. Yes, luck. Salami, no. It was a good hit. It was a good hit, and Geno needed it. He's been kind of rough the past couple of weeks. Actually, since he's come over from the Diamondbacks, hasn't been what he was. He was playing much better than the Diamondbacks, and now he's got the confidence. He's a little more locked in. When I was at the games last week, all of his swings, his head was like way out here as the ball's coming in, and these swings his head was down, and that's what you want. If your head's up, you're gonna lift the bat, you're gonna be over the ball, and you're just not gonna hit it. So you gotta keep that head down at the ball. And I think someone probably took him aside and had him look at some film and be like, you're not looking at the ball, dude. Look at the ball. And he was doing a pretty good job laying off those outside sliders that he was swinging at before. That is a big problem for Mariners in general, is that they get dealt these sliders. And you saw it with Ken Zone tonight. Is like if you're a right-handed hitter, the slider's going to move down and away with a right-handed pitcher, because of the way it gets thrown. So I would throw, back in the day, I'd throw a doorknob slider, which was a one-finger slider. Most pitchers have two fingers on it. And you throw, and you twist the ball this way. So as it comes in, it dives, and it dives down into the pitcher's left. So a right-handed hitter, they're there, and they see the ball coming at them, and so immediately they're going to stride towards it, but it starts to dive away, and they stick their butt out and just sort of stick the bat out. And it gives no power, and you just end up swinging at a ball. And it's probably the most common sort of trap that right-handed hitters especially fall into. There were what was that guy's name? The catcher. He was the power hitter catcher for the Mariners that drafted in 2004. And he came over. He had hit like 400 in college in Florida, and what was his name? Start with a Z, I think. Not Harry Ford. Harry Ford's current. Jeff. Oh my gosh! I think one of them played for Tampa Bay and. I want to say 2004. Matt Tuasosopo. Blah blah blah. No, not Matt. Not Jeff Clement. Jeff Clement was a third baseman, right? Mike Zunino. That was his name. Mike Zunino. Mike Zunino. There, thank you, Julius. Might have popped it in there. So Mike Zunino, he could mash the ball so hard and so far if it was a fastball. But he could not lay off a slider to save his life. And this is something that always baffled me about catchers, because they sit behind the plate and they call these pitches all the time. They should know exactly what their own weaknesses are. And for some reason, anytime there was a slider, he would stick his butt out, swing at it, and that was it. He'd strike out. And then only if a pitcher accidentally, just for some stupid reason, threw a fastball, he hit a home run. So he'd have like 60 hits in a season, and 30 of them would be home runs. And the Mariners right now, they're having a hard time with those sliders. They're swinging at them a whole lot, especially those right-handed hitters. And they're just sticking their butt out there, and they're swinging over it, and that's about it. So it's good that Geno finally laid off these for a little bit and got 2 home runs today as a result. And the Mariners won. And that's what they need out of this guy. He should be like a 4th in the order power hitter. He should be a cleanup type dude. And that's what he was for most of the season, especially. So, Juice Mammy, 199 super chat. How about we hedge the crash with Argentina pesos? Yeah, that'll do wonders. Basically, economists are saying that we aren't bailing out Argentina. We're just bailing out the investors or the speculators who foolhardily invested in a whole bunch of Argentine debt. They realize it's going to get paid off. And it's allowing them a brief moment to dump everything at a nominal loss in order for it to then crash for whoever gets stuck holding the bag. Low B sent $20 for don't eat the spam. Okay. You guys are... Oh, the cat broke the tip of my pencil. Look at that. You little monster. I don't think I have a pencil sharpener here. That's not a pencil sharpener, nor is that. Well, I do have a mechanical pencil. And it has lead. Excellent. Out of the way. Minus 20. Ow. I might be going negative here. You guys may have to raise a whole bunch of money to get me to eat that spam. We'll find out. But Low B's keeping the fight alive. This is an interesting way of doing it. Right? Well, I should make a whole spreadsheet and we can keep a negative and positive side going just so I can see who's winning. Right, buddy? Right? Oh, you're such a little goober doober. Yes, you are. Sweet little dog. Okay. Back up here. Back up to Tony, you know me. If I had a nickel for every time I thought it was MOAS, I would be as rich as if MOAS happened. MOAS tomorrow? MOAS is not tomorrow because tomorrow's Saturday. MOAS is going to be Monday. MOAS for your ass. Jay Geyser, 13 days of Halloween. 13 days of Halloween. Silver Shamrock. I hope you folks enjoy this year's Halloween costume. It is... I don't want to say it's a repeat of a costume. It's a reinterpretation of a previous costume that I've worn on the show. And I think you will enjoy it, and it shall bring joy, horrify children, and get you to question your sexuality at that. So just like every year. And I hope you truly do enjoy it. It's going to be a good one. it's going to be sexy. It will result in all sorts of complaints and screenshots, and then people trying to use that as some sort of one-upsmanship, I guess, over the years. Dig doink, delete the spam. Kitty, you're on the donate the spam thing. I think donate the spam might start going negative here. In general, there's quite a few donate the spams in the last couple of rounds coming out. Dig doink, time to bust out the thriller and dance. Polestar, thoughts on Prince Andrew giving up all his titles and honors? Why would he do this? Maybe Epstein related. Every week they're like, oh my god, big bombshell about to be released. Nothing. A big excerpt from Guilfoyle came out, and remember Virginia Guilfoyle, she committed suicide back in April, I believe. She had finished the book and committed suicide, and I'm sure she was sick of the hounding and everything, but it does work out in a way because you now can't bring her on TV and challenge her or do all like in court cases. If a witness knows they're going to die, you take their statement as 100% truth. And so this book came out, and the first excerpt is really, really, really damning about Prince Andrew. Basically, that he was a fucking weirdo. That he not only raped and abused these girls, he then wanted them to like tuck him in at night like a little boy and sit with him. It was creepy and weird. And my guess is that's why he basically was told, you're no longer a prince. And he's like, I will willfully, drop my titles. So yeah, screw that guy. He's out of here. Good. Dude, cat. What's up, man? Dig the Donkey's trying to slink into a hedge like Homer. He's cooked. Yes. Peach Sunday wins the bubble popping. You know how like you pop a bubble, it goes plop and it's gone, but then if you put it in like a million frames a second, you see the needle hitting the bubble and it hits and it's like. I think it might be doing that right now. That it has popped, but for some reason, like time has slowed down, so the market is not reacting the way it should, and it's like just slowly, disappearing and folding in on itself, and it will be gone eventually, and be like, oh, the bubble popped, but it's doing it such increments that we can't quite see at the moment. John Y says J's in 7. No. Aaron, I don't know if my 65 ounces of silver I bought during the pandemic will save me and my 6 1/20th gold coins. Will it? I mean, they're something, right? I mean, it's something. 65 ounces. So what's up? $50 bucks right now. So that's $3,000. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. So, it's something. So it's nice to have, right? Get raw. When are we gonna mow ass? I'm buying 50 warrants a week for GME. Is this good? I don't think it's bad. I just put in a big old order for more BBBY warrants today because they're so cheap. And I could be wrong. My gut says that they're somehow related. That there's some tie going on, and we're just not having it be revealed to us yet. So they're cheaper, like half the price. So I bought a bunch of those. Actually, less than half the price, like $1.20 right now. And Aaron, I know I was not a foolish buy of silver, or full-ish buy of silver, especially gold and silver were half price 4 years ago. 65 ounces at $23 an ounce, and $1,800 for an ounce of gold. At least my little stash is defending. Yeah, I still have a whole bunch of gold I need to go through in computer parts and junk jewelry that, since I've done the show, I have not really had a chance to go out there because I spend so much of my day reading. I'm not like reading for fun. I'm reading news articles and what have you, keep up to date and things. And I really need Probably a good idea. I probably have several ounces of gold in all that junk that I need to go through. But now it's getting cold outside and it's miserable to play with that. But I got to get it done. Defending inflation. Okay. Colin, oof, Blue Jays. That one hurt. It happens. One city is heartbroken. The other city is absolutely euphoric and floating through the streets right now. That's sports, baby. John Watt, thoughts on South Park's Peter Thiel episode? I watched it last night. It's pretty good. I'm waiting to see what the 6'7" joke actually is, because kids do stupid shit like that all the time. There's some stupid thing will come out and go, 6'7", and they're just like, it's the funniest inside joke in the entire world. And I'm kind of waiting to see what that is. But yeah, Peter Thiel. I like that Peter Thiel's obsessed with the Antichrist, and that they made Hitler pregnant with a butt baby, so that it's all tying in, and it's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I like it. I like it a lot. It's good. I laughed a lot. My German roommate was like, "I don't understand what's going on." I'm like, maybe next episode you will. Mark Levely, darn you Mariners. Curse you, Mariners. Lexington Productions. Is there going to be any volatility for GME before the end of the year? Twiddling our thumbs. Probably in November. A bunch of swaps come due in November. Remember, we're going to have It's Always it's Always Sad But Truthful on Tuesday, who is a swaps knower, and he's going to lay down swaps knowledge on us, because I know enough to be dangerous about swaps, but not enough about like how they actually operate to truly trust myself in anything I say. So it'll be nice to have him on the show on Tuesday. So stick around for that. He might explain more of the swap expirations in a way we understand, because I know the swap expirations come November, January, March, June, August. Those are the months for the swaps expirations. And it's a weird, because there's like 2 months, then 3 months for some of them. But that's how they roll. So we have a whole bunch coming in November. And normally we got a little push where GME goes up like 20 to 50% in November every year. So it did last year, and it did the year before. Right, Monkey? You're staring at me hoping that somebody's going to pay attention to her and give her all the treats, because we left the house too late today. We get to go to town and get treats from all our friends. It's okay, buddy. Tony, you know me. My credit union is planning on a merger. Could that be related to regional bank trouble? I was reading that there's a lot of credit unions who have gotten in dirty with auto loans. And then there's Julius Mann right beneath it saying auto loans, repos, killing credit unions. And Julius used to be a loan guy. He knows all about the loans with banks. I would say that, yeah, there's some credit unions that got tied up real bad with those auto loans, and it could be a lot better. So they may be trying to join forces to stave off horrible stuff that happens. And it's weird to me too that credit unions merge, because credit unions oftentimes are community based or like company based or union based. And so what are communities merging together as well, or whatever? I don't know. Only murder face eats old spam. No spam. Buddy, you're on top of the paper. I got to put this in the no spam pile. It's a minus $4.99 for no spam. Minus $4.99. No spam. Okay. I definitely need to make this into a spreadsheet. This is the goofiest crowdfunding I think I've ever done in my life. Kelly Reed, happy birthday, HW. Global government debt on course to hit 100% of GDP by 2029. IMF warns if everyone defaults by 2029, we are literally in for a rehash of past century. Wouldn't it be good if just everyone went, you know what? Nah, and just had a jubilee and just wiped it all clean and started over? I don't know. Bad things would happen, but it'd be just as bad as if everyone just went bankrupt and then owed the man who also owed the man who owed the man. And there's something like $900 trillion in debt globally. The economy is only $81 trillion. So I'm not just talking like government debt, right? We're talking municipal debt. We're talking corporate debt. We're talking consumer debt. We're talking consumer debt, right? You combine all those mortgages, etc., all together, and you're at like $900 trillion, which is where's the fucking money if everyone owes $900 trillion? Who has the notes on all that? Where is it? Seems like kind of a dumb system we have. If none of us can afford anything ever, then we all have to go into debt to each other. Even big companies got to go into debt to each other. Companies worth $1 gajillion. They got to take out $100 billion bond and do all sorts of crap. It's a mess, right, Kitty? It's a mess. Okay. Green-eyed bandit elixir. Green-eyed bandit elixir. Grocery outlet is an absolute money saver. Its stock price, though, isn't that exciting. In desperate times, that's where people should head to, though. And my apologies for having a double name. YouTube error. I can be called Green-eyed bandit elixir just once. I refuse. You shall be Green-eyed bandit elixir. Green-eyed bandit elixir. Forever and ever. Even if you somehow change your name, I'm still going to say it twice. Why? Because Skirt Skirt only has it once, but he's Skirt X2. And so, I don't know. Pomelo, with Aldi's, was public company, cheapest grocery anywhere. We don't have any Aldi's out here. They're a German grocer. I've been inside Aldi's in Europe, but I've never been in one in the US. We don't have them up in the Northwest. I'll be curious to see if they come this way, what they manage to do. Robert Carter, Fifth Thirds, and a merger with Comerica Bank. Are they combining, you think? Or that was coming? Or did they already combine with Comerica? BW Brand, is that why I can't enjoy the AI train? I'm not smooth brained enough? Yeah. Trump's little stunt did cost me a pretty penny. Which stunt is that? The canola oil stunt? The Chinese tariff stunt? There's a lot of stunts costing people pretty pennies all over the place. Kikadian H-Town, bless up from the Lord Almighty, Jah Rastafari, going to blaze up when we talk stocks. Irie, hey Mr. Iceman, roll me a great big spleef. Kikadian, also, so what banks were we shorting? If there's a bank and they are local or they are regional, it's probably a good idea to short the hell out of them. Most commercial loans come from regional and local banks. And not only that, these commercial loans aren't necessarily commercial loans for their cities. There's like an Iowa regional bank, I can't remember the name of it, that's in trouble for a whole bunch of buildings that were being built in Florida and Georgia. That they had lent out all this money to these like construction projects, and the construction projects went belly up. And the buildings are worth pennies compared to what the bonds, what the principal on the bonds are. And it might kill a bank in Iowa that's, half a dozen states away. So, it's really interesting to see how these things work. A lot of these projects that get built on lines of credit, meaning they aren't given like the full amount. So say you're going to build a project, it's going to cost you $30 million. You go to a bank, you're like, hey, I've got these investors, I got all this stuff. I need a $25 million loan. And they go, excellent. Here's a $25 million line of credit. Whenever accounts need to be paid and bills, you pay for it from that account. And the contractor goes, cool. They aren't getting a check for $25 million. They're just, as like a contractor comes in and says, hey, I did all the plumbing, you give me $400,000. The bank then pays $400,000 to that plumber, and so on. When these banks go tits up because of the big like real estate bonds and stuff that they have that aren't worth anything, all of a sudden the money that was promised to these projects, gone. Those contractors and those developers can no longer draw from that account to finish their projects. And that's why in 2008, 2009, 2010, you saw these like huge developments where all the construction just stopped. And they sat there like Tyvek's flapping in the breeze and framing and roofs weren't done. And then they just rotted and meth heads went out there and stole all the copper and wiring and stuff because the contractors were mid-construction. They didn't have this plan of like, hey, we'll build one house, sell it, build a second house, sell it, build a third. They're like, we're going to build 1,200 houses all at once, get this $300 million line of credit. We're going to get it done, sell it all, and we're out of here. And then all of a sudden the bank, could have been American Marine or Bank of Linwood or Wachovia or whatever. And they just went poof, they're just gone one day. And, they go to like pay the plumber. And the plumber's like, where's my money? And you're like, it should be here. But the bank isn't answering my call because there's no one left. The FDIC seized them and they're gone. Done. That's it. And so then all those contractors get paid. They put liens on the property. It goes bankrupt. The mortgage isn't paid, etc. And you're left for years with these like unfinished houses being sold off one by one at auction. Sometimes you're lucky an entire project gets sold off. Ozark Bank, there you go. Yeah, it happens a lot when the times start to get tough. The liquidity is just gone. It's just gone instantaneously, and you can't draw on it anymore. Poof. And when we start to see that happen, which I don't think is going to be very far in the future, total deposits in the U.S. drop below $3 trillion. That's dangerous zone for all 340 million Americans and their companies to have it be that low. What's that come out for an average? Where's my calculator? Calculator. All right. 2.9 trillion. 2,900,000 million, billion, whoops, trillion divided by 340 million Americans. So that comes out to $8,000 per person in the U.S. total in deposits in banks. That's not very good, especially considering, huge chunks of that are probably major corporations who have giant cash just sitting there earning interest, especially for like things like gift cards and etc. So if you take that chunk, you take like the commercial element out of it, and you take out the deposits from like municipal governments and state governments out of it, you're probably down to a couple $1,000s per American citizen, and that is really, really bad news for the economy. It's not looking good, and I just don't know how I don't know how anything's hanging on, man. The dude who took the giant short last week on crypto just went really long on ETH this morning. Like, what the hell? What's going on, man? I don't get it. Paul Couch, Santos pardoned by Trump. Not pardoned, commuted. So he's still guilty of all that shit. He just doesn't have to serve a sentence anymore. I don't know if he has to pay anything back because he stole a bunch of money from people, especially when he did stolen identities. So, video brand George Santos. I was thinking about him today or yesterday. Drag queen show? Yeah, I'll probably show up, do some stupid drag queen show while all the people who participate hate his guts. Dancing with the Stars, and George Santos's dancing partner doesn't want to like dance with him at all. Full star. Trump really starting to slur more and more when speaking. Trump has a couple issues. I mean, granted, he's having these mini strokes a whole bunch that you'll see him on TV, and all of a sudden his face is just like. But he also has a hole in the roof of his mouth. He has a completely cleft palate, and so he has his front teeth come out, and there's actually a cap that goes into his mouth, because otherwise he could literally stick his tongue out his nose if he wanted to, and that is from a whole bunch of stuff. He's been snorting Adderall for like 30 years, and he has absolutely a false roof to his mouth, a plastic roof to his mouth, and if it's slipping, he starts talking like this. If it's not sticking in well enough, we heard it in one of the debates where he started like having that sibilant S, kind of like Murderface, where he's talking like this a lot, and that's a result of that cleft, that deviated septum, not deviated septum, cleft palate. Deviated septum's when that fucker gets a hole. Also from a lot. I worked with this kid. The Wall Street Journal actually wrote a brief story about him last year. But I tweeted about how, I think I told you guys this, about how there's this guy I worked with, and he would get scheduled to work every Sunday at this bar I was working in. And his mom called the manager and was like, my son is such a huge Seahawks fan, and you keep scheduling him on Sundays, and it's just killing him on the inside. And the manager's like, have your son talk to me himself. Click. And then he kept getting scheduled on Sundays. But he had to take like a week off of work to get surgery. This kid's like 21, 22, just fresh from college. And he had to get surgery because he had a deviated septum. And I was like, oh, too much cocaine? He's like, what do you mean? Like, you've been snorting a lot of cocaine, so it blew a hole in your septum. He's like, does everyone know that? I'm like, yeah, everyone knows that. He's like, even my parents? I'm like, they probably know, dude. Maybe not his mom. His dad probably knows. Yeah. But anyway, Trump has a giant hole in his mouth, and if he takes his teeth out, he can stick his tongue through his nose. That's a cool party trick. I mean, he should be doing that at press conferences. Just imagine him like kunk, and then all of a sudden he's like, that'd be amazing. Tony Inomi, after the AI bubble popping, do you think we will go back to the gold standard? I don't think we'll ever go back to the gold standard. Mainly because there isn't enough gold in the world for us to go back to the gold standard. Like the United States has $240 billion in gold reserves at Fort Knox. That is 1 month of our deficit spending as a country. So no, we can't go back to the gold standard because if the cash that's out there ever gets turned in for gold, we run out of gold. And so the only way you'd be able to make that the gold standard is if you devalue the dollar so much that 1 ounce costs like 50 grand. And then maybe you might be able to make it the gold standard. Probably be more than that. Which starts to mean that, like, you know, a used car is going to cost a couple $100,000. A loaf of bread is going to be $800 at the grocery store. Like that's the only way you're going to be able to make a gold standard at this point. There's just too many people and not enough gold. Maybe if we go mine asteroids and we bring like football fields worth of gold back to Earth every day, and we can like bring the value of gold down, we can use that as a standard. But at the moment, no, there's not enough gold. There's just not enough gold. Ohtani, 10 strikeouts and 2 home runs. Sheesh. He's doing real well. I was trying to bring up a pirated feed here so I could watch the game out of the corner of my eye, which probably just be ignoring, but I don't have one at the moment. I found a good pirated feed for Fox Sports 1 so I could watch, but not one for TBS at the moment. Where was I? That one. That's just maybe telling me Zeno. Yes. Beer Brand. If we crash hard enough that gold standard becomes relevant, I will be watching from another country. There you go. Did that one. The murder face one. Okay. Ditto Brand. Ditto. Yeah. Polestar, Ghislaine is next to be pardoned and released. I don't doubt that. I think one thing the Trumpers do not count on, maybe a little camera right there, is that a whole bunch of MAGA, as fickle-brained, as cult-like as they can be, joined because of things like QAnon, sort of telling them like, we're saving the children, we're protecting the children, you know, we're protecting the pedophiles, Jeffrey Epstein was evil, and you know, the Democrats were all behind it, and they joined this MAGA thing thinking that they're protecting the kids from people like Ghislaine Maxwell. And if Trump sort of pardons Ghislaine or commutes her sentence and she gets released, I think that's the final straw for a lot of these folks. A lot of these folks are straight up struggling. They voted for this guy. They're struggling. They're seeing their coworkers get hauled away. You know, their family farms are going bankrupt. You know, the factories are shutting down. They're losing their jobs. The dollar's not worth shit. You know, a pound of ground beef costs $11.99 at the grocery store. They can't afford to live. And the last little hope they had was that, you know, these like the conspiracy global child sex traffickers are finally get their comeuppance because QAnon said so. Turns out that's just General Flynn doing bullshit. But if Trump pardons the most well-known convicted child trafficker in history, they've got nothing left. There's nothing left about racism. So I guess only the most devout racists will still be behind it. So third homer for Ohtani? Jesus Christ. Well, there goes the Brewers. So much for the former Seattle World Series right there. Dang, man. Does MLB really want a Toronto LA World Series? No, they're gonna get Seattle, baby. They're gonna get Seattle, right, monkey? Yeah. Okay. Um. Yeah. Video brand. I dislike the idea of Maxwell being pardoned, but I want the karma that comes with it. Yeah. How are you not wearing a Mariners outfit right now? I wear my Mariners outfit at the games. I will wear, if the Mariners make the World Series, I'll be wearing my Mariners jersey pretty much every day we do this show. I'll just smell like me at this point. Just that's all it'll be. I need to get some more Mariners stuff because all my Mariners stuff is from like the 90s. Come on, little buttholes just in my way. Oh my gosh, cat. There we go. All right. Peter Steele still use Blood Boys? Probably. He did have like a lover or two mysteriously die at his homes, which, John White says another Mariners are toast in 7. Yeah. Martin Coyle seemed more happy lately. Well, that's because the Mariners in the playoffs. Nuclear holocaust could be going on. If the Mariners still have a chance to go to the World Series, I'm going to have a smile on my face. So, there we go. This is why, you know, the Caesars had these gladiator bouts, because the whole world could be falling around behind you. You can watch some guy bash some other guy's brains in. You're like, woo! Popcorn. So they didn't have popcorn back then. Woo! Meat giblets or whatever the hell they ate at stadiums back then. Char, how about $150,000 per ounce to pay off the debt? Totally. That was the idea. Like the libertarians wanted to make a $1 trillion platinum coin to sort of offset the value of precious metals, and then we could pay off the debt, and like no problem with that. There's an issue where if you do that, basically just minting money at that point, same as you would fiat. You just arbitrarily attach a value to gold. It's no different than arbitrarily attaching a value to fiat currency at that point. And that causes runaway inflation. So you have runaway inflation where you go from, you know, a house costing $500,000 to a house now costing $50 million. And a candy bar being $1.50 at the grocery store to suddenly being, you know, $200 at the grocery store. The costs will fly through the roof, but the workers, there'll be a lag between the workers receive that money, that cost of living raise, that would help them out. So everyone would basically be destitute while the cost of everything flies around them, and the companies just come like falling out of the atmosphere as a result. So it'd be rough. It'd be really, 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 really hard one to do. Just man, how about a 50-year gold-backed U.S. Treasury? I know the Trumpers wanted to start making 100-year bonds, and hoping to like get rid of a whole bunch of debt that way, because 100 years from now with inflation, it'll be like nothing to pay it off. Yeah, interesting. I think you just don't make stupid wars. You get universal health care. All of a sudden, you're saving $2 to $3 trillion a year for all Americans. You stop throwing everyone in prison all the time. You make your schools better. And all of a sudden, just life is better at that point. Why not? Right, monkey? Right? It's a great way to, like, boost the economy. You save $3 trillion a year nationally. All of a sudden, you can pay off the entire debt in 12 years? 13 years? Not such a bad idea. Right, buddy? Right? Yeah. She's nodding. She's saying yes. It's a good idea. All right. I'm going to do a couple more here, and then I go away. And I think a lot of people watching the Dodgers game right now. Choose Man says, just give them the trophy already. Luminous Reflections heard today from MAGA. Racism doesn't exist. It doesn't. All those swastikas in Republican Congress offices are just fake. They're not racist at all. They're not racist, no. What are you thinking, fat cat? What are you thinking, monkey? Huh? Yeah. Someone got me hooked on watching Murderface today. You don't know why I've been talking about William Murderface? Is because a video recording came out from MJL. If you know what MJL is, he's that guy who like sued bankruptcy court for weird reasons and then lost and now has to pay a bunch of money and keeps trying to like file stuff and the judge is like, leave it alone. He like lost his shit on a space call and he sounds like William Murderface. He sounds like he's just the similar S, and so Murderface is on the mind. And so I sent Julius a picture of William Murderface, and now he's watched a whole bunch of Murderface videos. What is this? Furniture? KCTB repairman said everyone uses silver solder now, not lead, so things break due to breakage and heat. He uses lead, newer, not always better. My camera died from 2017. I don't know squat about solder. When I need it, I just buy solder and use that. I don't even pay attention to what's in it. I'm sure silver solder is expensive, and lead solder probably gets lead into people's lungs, and they end up going like, dum-dum, what are you doing? So that's probably the big reason, is that silver solder is probably a little safer. But, yeah. I bet they'll be going back to lead now. They won't care about people's health and how expensive silver is at the moment. Okay, that being said, Monkey, that's it for Friday night, man. I gotta eat some salmon now. Yeah. So I'm gonna eat some salmon and bask in the glory that is the Mariners being up 3-2 in the American League Championship Series and 1 win away from the World Series for the first time in franchise history, so that all of Seattle can go knucking futz. I just wish they had just won at least one of these other games so we could be celebrating in Seattle right now rather than having to like celebrate in Toronto. It's just a bummer to celebrate on the road, right? You want to be there running around with your fans going nuts. Right, Kitty? Okay. That being said, everybody have a good night. Enjoy yourselves. After dark.
Houston, we have a problem.
Booze ain't food.